If you saw my last video talking about buying a light meter, I mentioned in that video that I purchased my light meter with the idea of trying out shooting strobes with my Mamiya RB67, and that's exactly what we're going to look at today. So a few days ago, my good friend Sophia came over to Sheffield and we spent some time shooting here in the studio with Ethan. I shot using the RB67 with the 90mm f3.8 lens, as well as the newer Vision 4 strobe with a softbox. Getting set up was straightforward enough. Attach the PC link cable to the lens, fire off a few test shots prior to loading the film to make sure that it's all working, and away you go. Now it is worth bearing in mind that the RB67 is completely mechanical, and so it does not have a hot shoe. Some later models do at least have a cold shoe mount, but unfortunately not on the Pro that I have, hence me leaving the trigger dangling whilst I was shooting. I decided to shoot some Kodak Gold at its box speed of 200 ISO, and I made sure that I metered for both the highlights and the shadows, and then I took an average across the scene. Now I can't lie, this was one of the most nerve-wracking rolls of film that I've ever shot. My first time shooting medium format with strobes, and as with all film photography, as you're going on, there's no way of knowing how the shots are going to come out. Now I did mess up a couple of times, firstly by not checking that the strobe hadn't gone into sleep mode, so I took the shot and the flash didn't fire, which led to having to take the shot again, but there was a little bit of light that had come in. And the second time I messed up was forgetting to advance the film, although that led to one of my favourite shots, which is this double exposure here, which is quite the happy accident. Now thankfully the entire roll came out great and I'm absolutely over the moon with the images. I do feel that I overexposed by about a stop against what I was looking for, but that's all part of the learning process. I also quickly realised that I could handhold the camera without having to worry about camera shake, as the strobe itself freezes the shot for me, which meant that I didn't feel restricted by having to use the tripod for every single shot. One thing that did surprise me, however, was that afterwards I also shot a roll of Kodak Portrait 800 in just the natural light to see how that compared, and to be honest, there wasn't that much difference between the results at all. Now since this shoot, I've shot again with strobes and I instantly felt much more comfortable in the knowledge that I'd done it right the first time. Now I still haven't got those rolls back, so there is obviously that nervousness that only film shooters know when the lab have got your rolls and you haven't seen the results yet, but it's taken me far too long to be brave enough to try using strobes with medium format. And if you've been putting it off like me, or if you've been scared, I cannot recommend enough giving it a go. It's nowhere near as difficult as I'd convinced myself in my head that it was. And it also allows you to shoot in ways that really wouldn't be possible without the use of strobes. So especially if you're needing to shoot something like f11 or f16, you don't have to worry about your shutter speed as much when you've got that burst of light in there. Now hopefully this video will have persuaded you to try it yourself, and if so, please let me know. Thank you so much to Ethan for modelling. Thanks to Sophia for coming over and shooting and guiding me through and giving me loads of help and advice, as well as Sam from the studio, who was also here. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to leave you with all 20 shots from the two rolls and a couple of digital images for you to be able to compare. But other than that, as always, I'll see you in the next video.